Alright, here in this video I'll be explaining the Proteus Design Suite 8.7 interface. If you have correctly installed your Proteus, this is what you should have. So you have your open project here, you have your new project here. You will likely not be using this. You have your samples here. You are free to play around the example projects that you have here to gain more knowledge on how to use Proteus and the power of what Proteus can offer. Now, if your software is well cracked or successfully cracked, you should see something like software is up to date. Last checked 0 days ago. So you should see something like this. You will likely not be needing what we have here. So we are going to be relating with what we have here. So since then your recent project, if you have done any project recently, is going to be displayed in this space here. So the next thing now, let's create a project. You do that by clicking new project. So the wizard is going to create a new project. It's creating the project now. So you have the chance to change the name of your project here. You can call it, you can name it anything. Name, but I advise you to name it with the name of the project you're trying to build. But let me just put it as learn. Now, this is a part where the project is going to be saved to. I strongly recommend that you create another folder so that you can easily find your project. For me, I'm going to be using Proteus project folder. I've already created this. You can create another folder by clicking new folder here or by pressing Ctrl N. So Ctrl Shift N rather. So let's continue. So I'll select my folder, click select folder. So my projects will be saved in that folder. So this will enable me to easily find where my projects are saved whenever I need them. So click next. Now this is where you select the size of the schematic sheet. Just think of it like as though you are using a paper to draw. So this is like a size of A0 paper, the size of A1 paper, A2 paper, A3 paper, A4 paper. Normally for most of my designs I use A4 or A3. So let's select A4, click next. Now Proteus can also be used to create PCB layout. So if you want to create a PCB layout, you select create PCB layout, then you select the kind of PCB layout that you want to create, but in this case you will not be using PCB layout, so we select do not create, click next. No firmware. So this firmware is like a code that you write. That means Proteus also can be used to write codes for your projects, but we will not be using that feature for Proteus or in this tutorial. So let's click next now. So click finish. So it will load up your schematic window. Now in this place, you will not likely be using everything that is here. Everything that is here. You will use these ones, then these ones here, then your zoom buttons, zoom and center. So let's say we want to create a project where we use an Arduino to control a light emitting diode. So in that project you need an Arduino board and a light emitting diode. So how do we bring in Arduino board and a light emitting diode or any components we may be needing in the future? So we do that from selecting any of these two boxes here. So if your selection is on this, that means you are working on what you have here, you are using it to select. So but this is component mode. This that looks like an op amp is components mode. In this place, this is where you will pick parts or select parts you are going to be using. So how do you select parts? Come to this place, the letter P, click on it, then locate your Arduino. You can type a search key for what you want to do. So for mine, I just type in Arduino and it brought out all the Arduino boards or Arduino fixturing libraries that it has here. So let me just let Arduino Uno. So double click. Once you double click, that Arduino will appear under this list here. So we need another thing, we need a light emitting diode. You can type it there, LED, in your search key. So to narrow down the search, you can select a family. So LED belongs to the optoelectronics family. To further narrow down the search, you can come down and select the kind of LED that you have, because you have the bar graph LED, you have the dot matrix, you have the, so you can select these. So now when you do, you see different kind of LED that is usable. So these are all LEDs, but we are going to be using these ones: blue or green or red or yellow. Now, when this LED is on in your schematic, this black space will turn red if you have selected red LED. So let's select this. When you are done selecting all the components that you need for your simulation, you can either click cancel or you press enter. So now we are back. Now, to draw a real schematic, here we have just selected the components we are going to be using. Now we want to draw it. Click on the part you want to place, on the first part. So I've clicked on Arduino. It will reflect here what you have clicked. This screen is like, this place is like a mouse or a preview of what your schematic looks like, and it has a space. You will see, notice that green line. So that green line, that those two green lines tells you the position of your schematic. So you can see my schematic in between that green line. So let's go on. So restore it. Now click on Arduino, then come to your schematic window and click once. Now you are about to drop the Arduino board on your screen. To do that, you are going to click another time, but this is to enable you determine where you want to put it. So just now I want to put my own here, so click one more time. Now this is successfully placed. The next thing, maybe I want to connect on my code. I've assigned that this LED is connected to pin 13. Now this is a little bit small. Let's zoom in. Yeah, you see this place now. So I'm putting the green line to be in between where I need to see clearly. Alright, so maybe in the code I've designed that this LED is on pin 13. So I'm going to put this LED like this. So I can rotate how this LED looks like. I can rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise or any way. Now I want to move the position of this LED. This is the properties of the LED. You can edit it, you can change the forward voltage or whatever, which I don't think you need to bother yourself about. So if I want to change the position of the LED, just drag it by left clicking and moving on your mouse at the same time. So that is done. One more thing, this circuit is not complete. It needs a ground connection. So to get a ground connection, you come to terminals mode. So take note of selection, components mode, and terminals mode for now. Take note of those three. So to select terminals mode, there you will see your power or your ground. So take note of those two as well, the power and the ground. So select ground. Sorry for that. Select ground and come and drop it here. Now to connect the signals, now this is separate, this is separate, this is separate. There's no connection between them now. To connect, place your mouse at the end of one of the components like this. until it displays that fairly red rectangle or square. So once it does that, click, then drag away to the point where you want it to connect to. Now when it gets to the next point, now on my pin 13, you can see that fairly red square again. Once it displays that, you can click again. Now I've made a successful connection between pin 13 of my Arduino board and this LED light emitting diode. Now to connect it to ground, repeat the same thing, the red square, click, then come back here, the red square again, then click. Now if you have done this, you have successfully installed Proteus. You have successfully connected Arduino and a LED light emitting diode as a project on your Proteus Professional. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.